Awesome. Well, thanks so much for having me today on this Sunday. And hey, everybody, thank you for showing up. We've got a good 50 people in here, so that's nice. Let's get started. So, a little bit about me. My name is Antoine Martel. I was born in Toronto, Canada, raised in San Mateo, California, which is a suburb of San Francisco. Then I moved to Los Angeles about 7 years ago. I went to Loyola Marymount University in West LA, studied business. While I was at university, I actually interned with a successful commercial real estate developer working on $100 million deals here in Los Angeles and worked with him for about a year. Um, After that finished, I was kind of, really early on in my senior year. I was about a year away from graduating from university, and I didn't want to go and get a job with somebody else. I wanted to work for myself. I wanted to have my own business. It says I was studying business on this screen, but my major was actually entrepreneurship. It was under business management. So I really wanted to start my own company. And I had started many companies in the past, but nothing enough to make me enough money to live in Los Angeles. So my brother actually took me to a seminar my senior year of college. We learned about flipping houses, real estate investing, wholesaling, apartment buildings, all this kind of stuff. And I just became addicted. I moved all my classes from 5 to 10 p.m. I was using the whole day to go to this internship, to meet other people, to network, and to network with a ton of other people in Los Angeles who had done deals out of state or had done deals locally, and just figure out how the hell can a 21, 22-year-old kid in college with no money to his name do the same exact thing. And so pretty much just collecting a bunch of stories. So I met with like 200 people and just kind of like collected all those stories to figure out how the hell can I do it on my own, right? And so what ended up happening was I realized, after making probably 20 offers a month for a couple months here in Los Angeles or California in general, I realized that LA was not going to work for me. There was no way. My family didn't have a ton of money. My dad had like 40, 50 grand that he was willing to invest. And it was just impossible to get into a deal. You had to find the deal. You pretty much had to be your own agent. You had to own your own GC, and you had to like own the hard money lending company in order to make any profit on these damn deals. And then you had to go and raise all this gap funding, which, left you with 10% of a, $1 million or $2 million project. So it wasn't that much skin on the bone for me to go through all that work to just do one house a year or whatever the case was. So I started looking at deals out of state, and I found, my dad had 40, 50 grand. All right, where the hell can you invest in real estate for 40, $50,000? Well, Memphis, Tennessee at the time, you can buy houses for 20, 30, 40,000 bucks. I was like, oh, this is interesting. Wow, you can buy houses for 20, 30 grand, renovate them for 10 grand, and rent them out for seven, eight, $900 a month, which beats the 1% rule, which we can talk about later. But these properties cash flow extremely well. So what I did is I started cold calling. I had like a list of the top like 5, 10 markets out of state that were great for cash flow. And so I started cold calling property managers, contractors, realtors, title companies, you name it, lenders. I was cold calling everybody. After 200-300 phone calls, I finally found somebody that was willing to help me. Again, being a 21-year-old kid in college with $40,000 of his dad's money, and put a house under contract. I actually had a phone call with that guy today. Put that house under contract for 35,000 bucks, renovated it for 5,000 bucks. So all in for $40,000, rented it out for $700 a month, and then did a cash out refinance on that property. And then I was a couple months away from graduating from university, went to my dad and said, hey, I got a team here. I got a contractor, insurance, property manager. We got a lender that will lend us money, a local credit union. They're willing to give us a line of credit as well to do more deals. Let me figure this out. Let me graduate. Let me figure this out. Let me figure out how I can, grow this portfolio. And by the end of the year, by the end of 2017, we had like 8 houses in Memphis, Tennessee. And so I had kind of achieved financial freedom already, and I was only 6 months out of graduating from college. My rent here in LA was, pretty much nothing, but it was $800 a month, and then my car was $200, so it wasn't that much money to cover. But I had achieved financial freedom 6 months after graduating college. And then what kind of happened naturally after that is my family had kind of run out of money to keep putting into these deals because that $40,000 eventually got, evaporated after you do more and more houses. And then people started reaching out to us as a family saying, hey, what's Antoine doing after graduating? Oh, he's buying houses in Memphis, Tennessee. And people were like, he's doing what? Like where? And so friends and family started becoming interested in what we were doing, and they wanted to get involved. So what we ended up doing was actually selling properties in our portfolio to friends and family so that we can get cash back so that we can go and do more deals. So that's when we began helping friends and family to invest out of state. And that is essentially what created the turnkey company that we have today, which is probably like where I spend 70, 80% of my time today, which is martelturnkey.com. So we, again, started the company to pretty much help friends and family achieve financial freedom. Through word of mouth, our business began to spread. I made a janky little website called martelfamilyrealty.com and started posting properties on that website, and people started buying houses from us. And so essentially the way that it would work is we would go buy the house, we'd renovate it, rent it out, put the property management company in place, and then sell those homes to our friends and family. They would buy the house, we'd help them get financing, insurance, property management, and they would be making cash flow every single month. So you'd buy these houses for $100,000. You put 20% down, which I'll show you guys numbers later. You put 20% down, you'll make $200-300 a month for every single house that you buy. And we help with every single step of the way. At this time, we learned that turnkeys and turnkey companies are actually a thing, and people actually do this. And so we started looking at the different competitors in the space, because I was a business major. So a lot of my classes were about competition and mapping competition and stuff like that. So we would find all these different pain points, and we realized that we could do it better. Some of the ways that we can do it better and why our company was different than the competitors was a couple of main things. Day one cash flow. So a lot of competitors were selling these houses vacant, and then we're like, hey, buy this house for $100,000 and it'll rent out, for $800 to $1,200 a month. And go buy the house, we'll sell it to you vacant, and then good luck. And I was kind of like, well, shouldn't you be taking that risk? Like, you're the one that's supposed to have that local knowledge. So we took that upon ourselves to give day one cash flow. So every single house you buy with us or through us has a tenant in place for the rent that we say on the pro forma before you close. Something else was that a lot of the other turnkey companies out there were having their clients buy properties over their appraised value. So let's say you buy a house for $100,000 and it appraises for $90,000. Those companies were still making you buy that house for $100,000. They were not dropping the price down to what the banks or the appraiser thought the property's worth. When we first started, we thought that was BS. So we said, hey, whatever the house appraises for, within reason, we'll drop the price down to the appraised value. You feel like you're getting a good deal. We agree with their fair value or fair assumption. Let's close on the property. The third thing is a lot of the big competitors out there in the turnkey space have in-house property management, which I also feel is a little bit strange because you're selling a product and you're making a profit. And then on top of that, you're making recurring revenue from your client. It's a good business move, but it also has repercussions, because why would I spend extra money up front doing the renovations when I know that I can make extra money later on if I leave stuff behind and take it off the renovation, because I'm just going to get the recurring revenue later and I'll just quote you for the bid. So instead of spending $5,000 for an HVAC up front, I won't do it. You'll buy it. I'll make $5,000 more profit. Then a year later, when the HVAC breaks down, I'll say, hey, client, here, $5,000. And we also take a 10% management fee to manage the construction projects for you. So now I just made an extra $5,000 and an extra $500 for managing the project. So I just felt that wasn't right. So we always connect with local property management companies that have been in business, that know the market, know the game, and we use third-party property management companies in the market. Also helps when our clients come and buy a house, they're not happy with property management, they can always give us a call and we can send them to somebody else. Alrighty, the couple of markets that we are working in currently. So we started in Memphis, Tennessee, then I expanded the business to Cleveland, Ohio. Then we went to St. Louis, and then more recently we've expanded into Detroit. We're always testing out new markets. I'm testing out some houses in Cincinnati right now, Birmingham, Alabama, et cetera. But these are the main 4 markets that we've got set up so far. And Detroit's an interesting one. I never thought that I would ever put this up on my website or start buying houses there. But I went to visit a couple months ago, and it's pretty crazy. We can talk about that later. So out of these four markets, probably the one that we're doing the most amount of projects in right now is Cleveland, Ohio. So the company as a whole, we're doing 10 to 20 houses a month that we're buying, renovating, renting out, and reselling. So 10 to 20 properties a month. Cleveland is our biggest market. We're doing like 6 to 7 properties a month. So with that being said, I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about what we look for in a market. It's a question I get all the time. What do you look for in a market when you're going to invest in that market? So first thing, a diverse workforce. So again, it's funny because I have Detroit on here now, but what happened in Detroit with the automobile industry and why the automobile industry completely shattered the entire city of Detroit is because their total workforce was, very heavy in the automobile industry. So when that industry left or decreased, then the whole city was screwed because the total workforce, was all in this automobile industry. They didn't have any other industry to kind of hold up the city. So when we go into a new city, we always make sure that no workforce or no sector of the workforce has more than 25% of the total workforce. So here in Cleveland, Ohio, the number one is education and health services. That's because there's Cleveland Clinic headquarters is there. It's it's like number two best hospital in the US, which is Cleveland Clinic. They have about 19% of the total workforce in the city. Largest employers, Progressive, Sherwin-Williams, KeyCorp, Cleveland Clinic. KeyCorp's a huge bank. And then obviously you guys know Progressive Insurance, Sherwin-Williams Paint, and then Cleveland Clinic headquarters, which is constantly expanding their business. Cleveland downtown is also home to 10 Fortune 500 companies, 3 major sports teams, as you know, the Cavs, the Indians, and the Browns. Amazon also has built 2 warehouse facilities, as well as in our other markets, actually, which is pretty interesting. Memphis, Tennessee, for example, has the 2nd largest cargo airport in the world. You like that one, Zach? They have a 2nd largest cargo airport in the world, so they built a ton of Amazon warehouses as well. Just because of the location of Memphis, Tennessee, being right in the middle of the country, it's a great place for stuff to land, and that's why FedEx headquarters is there as well. $7 million trail project in Euclid, which is pretty much building a trail or a path, along the entire lakefront, which is really nice. And I think 99% of the lake that Cleveland's on is, not touchable or not usable because there's no trails or anything like that. So this is a nice project that they I think they just finished up. Now, talking about numbers for a market, and especially I updated these last night because it's changed over the last couple of years, but B-class properties, the cap rate that you would see on these properties right now is going to be anything from a 7 to 8% cap for a B-class. For C-class, you're going to see 8 to 9% cap rate. Which I can explain a cap rate is the return you would receive on a property if you were to buy that property all cash. So you buy $100,000 property, you put $100,000 down or buy it all cash, you're going to make a 7 to 8% return on your money. If you were to use financing, that's going to be the bottom set of numbers, which is cash on cash return. So if you use financial leverage in today's market with 4 to 5% interest rates and you're buying a 7 to 8% cap, you're going to see a 10 to 12% cash on cash return for B class. C class, you're going to be a little bit higher, which is 12 to 15. But due to the lack of inventory in the market right now, these numbers, this 12 to 15 is getting really, really hard. Also, the C class is getting hard to even see 9 caps anymore for a turnkey product. All right. Some info on the property management companies that we use and what we look for as well. So Cleveland, Ohio Property Management, over 10 years of experience, 1,800 doors under management. They charge 10% in management fees. So that's management fees on collected rent. So if they collect $1,000 in rent, they're going to get $100. If they collect no rent, they're going to make $0 that month. They're incentivized for the property to be rented out. They also do vigorous tenant screening. So no evictions, income must be 3 times rent, and no criminal record. They also have a transparent owner portal for tracking the portfolio, which you would be surprised that a lot of mom and pop property management companies or smaller property management companies in general don't have this kind of owner portal, which makes it very, very difficult for an out-of-state landlord to manage their portfolio across the country. If you don't have an owner dashboard and you have to share Google Sheets with your property management company, it gets very difficult. Alrighty, diving into some of the properties, and what do the properties look like that we have in the markets that we're investing in, and what can you expect? So we're going to go through 3 different scenarios. It looks like all of these are single family houses, anything from 108,000 to all the way up to 143,000 bucks. Let's go through them, show you guys a little bit, breaking down the numbers a little. So the first property, this is a house that we sold this year, a couple of months ago. The purchase price, $136,000. The rent is $1,100. Cap rate 7%, cash on cash 10%. The net cash flow per month is $253 per month. So if you wanted to go and buy this property for $136,000, you put 20% down, $3,000 in closing costs, and so you'd be all in for around $32,000 in order to buy this property, and you'd be making $253 per month. Which is going to give you a 10% cash on cash return. And if you want to break down of the net cash flow, here it is on the right. Income. So this house will rent out for $1,100, taxes, insurance, property management. This is your net operating income. And then you have your debt service, which we're assuming 4.25%, which is still possible right now, to give you a net cash flow of $253 per month. And this is a 3-bedroom, 1-bath, 1,250 square feet. Really, really typical size property, anything from 1,000 to 1,300 square feet. 3-bedroom, 1-bath is also very, very typical in the Midwest. When they built a lot of these houses in the 50s and 60s, they did not build 3-2s. They built a lot of 3-1s. So that's a big thing I get from a lot of California investors is, where I'm located, if I go meet people in person, they're like, oh, it needs to be a 3-2. They didn't build. We can make it a 3-2, and I'll put a bathroom in the basement. But an unfinished basement with a bathroom is not that nice either. All right, next one. This one, smaller house, or same square footage, but 2 bedrooms. So it must have some big bedrooms. 108,500. You would need the initial investment, 26,000 bucks, to make $203 a month. Cash on cash return is 10%. Rental income, 925, taxes, insurance, property management, NOI, net operating income, debt service, net cash flow, 203. This is kind of the minimum we look for with our investors as well. We want it to be always over $203 or $200 per month in net cash flow. And then, of course, we're going to help you find the insurance company. We'll connect you with property management. We'll connect you with the loan person as well. So all of these things are kind of done by us for you, even the property. So the way you get access to our property, it's right on our website. So all the properties that we have available are right on our website, martelturnkey.com, to go see what is currently available. Next one. So this one is in Parma, Ohio, which is a suburb of Cleveland. Really, really nice. I would say this is like A- class property. That's why the rents are so high, $1,275. Well, the rents are high for Cleveland, Ohio. So 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath, a little bit smaller, $143,000. You need 32,000 bucks to buy it. The rent is $1,275. Taxes, insurance, property management, net operating income, debt service, net cash flow. One of the questions I get is, what about utilities? So for single family homes, the tenants cover all the utilities, which is why I like single families more than duplexes, quads, tris. You just got to factor in all that utility expense, which gets annoying. And also sometimes you can't separate the water bill. Sometimes in cities like Cleveland, it's common for the owner to pay for the water, which then gets difficult if the person's showering 70 times a day. So there's some other issues that come along with duplexes. Other great thing about single family homes that I'll talk about here is the tenants last longer, sign longer leases and stay longer in the properties that they're living in. The average lease that we've seen is 2 to 2.5 years for single family homes, whereas like the apartments that we have or other duplexes, we've seen more like a year being the average. So you almost get like 2 or double the amount of time that a tenant stays in, which helps you because you don't have all that turnover cost as well. Every time a tenant moves out, you have to pay $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 to clean up the place to get the next person in. it's going to eat into your net cash flow and your ROI. All right. We'll finish up this little segment here. I have some other things to talk to you guys about, just so that when we open it up, there's because I do a little bit more than just the turnkey business. Now we've expanded into many other things that I'll talk about. So book a call with us if you'd like to chat with us at martelturnkey.com. There's a little tab that you'll see contact us, and then you can just click this button, schedule a phone call. It'll go directly to my team's calendar, and you can schedule a phone call. So please go ahead if you're interested or just want to ask more questions directly about Martel Turnkey. If I don't answer them today, please feel free to do that. All right. Something else that I've done that will just help with the Q&A and when we talk later on for you guys to ask more questions to me is I've also gotten into a little bit of apartment buildings and buying distressed property, apartment buildings, renovating them, doubling the rent, cash out refinance or sale, and then repeat them. We've done like 5 projects so far, right under 100 units, all in Memphis, Tennessee. I think I have, yeah. So here's an example of a project that we've done as well. So again, I started with the single family homes, but then, as we did more and more projects, we had more and more cash, and then, more and more wholesalers started to send us different types of deals. Now we started getting, this is an 11 unit building. And so we started looking at these deals, and we had never done apartment buildings before, and started looking at the numbers, and they were in neighborhoods we were doing single families, and we were like, wow, these rents are really low. And we're like, okay, well, what's the difference? It's just going to be, more money, have to raise more money from investors, different type of loan. But, at least we have the contractors, at least we have the property management, all this kind of stuff that we did have, which we thought would help. So this is an 11 unit that was sent to us. We bought it for $425,000 for 11 units. It was fully occupied. The rents were $425 a month. The market rent in this area was $850 per month for a 1-bedroom apartment. So we went in, this is what it looked like before on the right-hand side, and this is what we made it look like after. So complete exterior renovation. We put a new roof, made the HVAC work, so tenants didn't have to bring their own. Window units, painted the entire exterior. You'll see there's no fence here, and there's a nice cedar fence. We built new balconies that were more stable, like this. All of these are also brand new, because they were falling to the ground. And then interior units, we spent like 15 to 20 grand per unit just on the interior of the units, putting tile flooring, Formica countertops, brand new cabinets, stainless steel appliances. There's also a washer dryer right here on the right hand side. So this one we bought it for $425. Renovation was about, I think, $350,000, and then we just sold this property for $1.2 million. So it was a pretty good deal that we did. Took that money. This is one we did with ourselves. Actually, we didn't even bring in investors. We just did it ourselves, and we sold it for $1.2 million a couple of months ago to one of our turnkey clients, which is funny. So that's something else that if you guys have questions about that, I also have some experience with doing apartment buildings. We actually have a ground up, not a ground up, but a fully vacant deal in Detroit under contract. We're actually just made a package on that. So if you want to invest with me on some future deals, I do have some other deals coming down the pipeline. And one of them is a 32 unit. We're raising $500,000 for that deal. Great. The last thing that I'll talk about is, turnkey is great for people that have maybe like $20,000 to $50,000, work full time, want to buy something out of state and just collect cash flow. They want to be passive real estate investors. Apartment buildings take a lot more money, like the ones I just showed you. $300,000 in cash or $350 for renovation plus another $150 down. You're looking at a lot more money to get into apartment buildings, and that's a small, cheap building, right? $425K for the building for 11 units. That's nothing. Look anywhere in the country. Good luck getting that, kind of deal for a good neighborhood. But something else that we also started doing, especially for Martel Turnkey to find more inventory, is we started actually wholesaling. And so this is a wholesaling company that I started about almost 2 years ago now. So they go and find off-market investment properties across the country. We have 10 to 30 houses a month, all in cities and states that I work in and do deals in. And then they try to help connect you with local contractors, lenders, and property managers. And we're constantly adding more markets every quarter. We're adding more markets. So if you want to go see what kind of off-market inventory they have right now, the link is right here, rocketoffer.com/invest. So go check that out. Again, these are for those of you that want to maybe get into flipping, or want to do your own burrs or do different things like that. There's some great options out there to pick up some of their deals, and they can try to connect you with the right people to make stuff happen. So that's something else to check out as well. They do have a ton of different inventory. Again, 10 to 30 houses a month that they're wholesaling. So there's a lot of deals available. So this would be the person that maybe doesn't have enough cash to do an apartment building and doesn't want to really be passive buying the turnkey rentals. You want to do something in between burrs or flips, or do your own rentals, and build a team on your own and all that kind of stuff. This could be a great resource for you, because it's wholesaling. We work with a ton of wholesalers, which is one of the reasons why we started this company. And just, they don't really know how to do business. They're more just like fly by night people just trying to make an extra 5 or 10 grand on stuff that's even on MLS or for sale by owner deals. So I think it's a wholesaling company done the right way. And that is all that I have. You can connect with me. That's my email address that I use the most, martelturnkey.com as well. And then, like I said, you can connect with martelturnkey.com by going to the website and booking a call. Apartment buildings, if you're interested, just shoot me an email. And then Rocket Offer for the wholesaling, you can go to that website as well.